Hey guys, Vick here, back with another video. Today, as promised, we are looking at how my recommended mouth-to-lung build for the Savour RTA, Savour mouth-to-lung RTA, designed by me and 3cVape. So, if you missed the introduction video, I do recommend going and checking that out. Link in the description to that. Also in the description is the like page if you want to know more about my RTA. Go and give that a like and read everything on there. It's a mouth-to-lung RTA designed by me and 3cVape. Comes with changeable pins so you can move from mouth to lung to direct to lung. I have the mouth to lung pin in right now, and I have inside here my recommended mouth to lung build. 15 watts, 0.115. Let's have a little cheeky vape. There we go. Mouth to lung in. Absolutely beautiful with this mouth to lung pin in place. Okay, so this video is basically how I build in this RTA when I'm using it in mouth to lung mode. Now there are a million different brilliant builds you can do for mouth to lung. If you have your own build, then happy, that's great. It will work great in here, no problem. I really want to do this video for people that are coming back to mouth to lung or skipped mouth to lung altogether in terms of RTAs. This is what I recommend you start off with, and then you can tweak it and change it as much as you like. If you have a build that you think is better, put it in the comment below, but please don't knock my build. You know, this is genuinely my recommended build. I'm not saying it's the best mouth to lung build in the world. It's just the one that I personally use and am recommending people that are starting off with mouth to lung to try out. Also want to say, in terms of mouth to lung, if you're coming from a sub tank, a 50 watt sub tank, to mouth to lung for the first time for whatever reason, please bear in mind it is a different style of vaping. You cannot just chuck in your max VG 3mg liquid, you know, and expect to get the same cessation, the same nick hit and all that sort of stuff. You really need to use the appropriate juice, the appropriate wire and all that sort of stuff. I recommend a thinner wire for mouth to lung building. I'm going to be using 26 gauge in this video. 27 and 28 gauge works brilliantly as well, but again, you don't want to be putting a Clapton in here. You don't want to be putting 22 gauge or any really thick metal like that in here. It's really not necessary for mouth to lung. Best results, I do recommend thinner wire. And again, you want to be putting in higher nick. If you're on 3 normally with your sub tanks, then maybe consider 6 or 9 or maybe even 12. You're getting less vapor, so you need more nick. And it's as simple as that, really. Also, you can use your max VGs with this if you want, but again, it kind of works better with a thinner juice, you know, slightly more PG, maybe 60-40. 60 VG, 40 PG might be better, you know, because you really want that flavour to punch out, and it's the PG that carries the flavour, not the VG. So that's just a few basics on mouth to lung. Let's go down low. I'll show you my build. We'll come back up top, have a little chat, and then we'll be off. See you in a sec. Okay, guys, here we are down low with the Savour mouth to lung RTA. Don't forget, if you want to use it in mouth to lung mode straight out of the box, first thing you need to do is to change your pin, unscrew this and put in your mouth to lung positive pin. Screw this back up. Make sure you screw it up tight, or else you'll get false readings and all that sort of nonsense. Make sure it's nice and tight, and there you go, and there it is with its tiny 1mm hole. There we go. So let's get building. Okay, so first thing we need to do obviously is pick a wire. These are the two I recommend. 26 gauge. This is all incredibly subjective, but this is just how I do it, guys. If I'm doing a TC build, I use the stainless steel 26 gauge. If I'm doing a Kanthal build, straight wattage, I use 26 gauge Kanthal. So there we go, I'm going to do a Kanthal build today. So we got our wire, our Kanthal, and we have our coily tool, it's Coil Master 1, and I'm just going to wrap a coil. I'm going with 3mm. 2.5mm works brilliantly as well. Both are absolutely fine in this RTA. I know a lot of mouth to lung guys like the 2.5, but I'm just going to wrap this coil. Okay, so we have our coil on here. About 10 wraps is good. Slide this off here. I've never been great with these things. I always get one bendy leg, but just give it a really good tightening. Make sure both leads are level. Give it a really nice tighten like that, and we'll tidy up the legs when we get there. Next thing I'm going to do is slightly space this. I'm sure you've seen this in a million videos before, but basically I just stretch it out like that, give it another go, push it back together a bit like that, and we've got our slightly spaced coil. And again, we'll tidy that up when we get it in. Okay, over to our build deck. We want to stick these in like this. What you want ideally is the coils with a step in. So if you can try and make this lead a bit lower like that, so they're both level, so they're both getting screwed in at the bottom of the post hole rather than getting pushed down as you put them in. Again, the coil's still looking a bit messy at this point, but don't worry, we'll tidy it up once we've put a bit of heat through it. Okay, let's tighten this up. Okay, so we've got this in. In terms of height, it's personal preference. Obviously, it increases throat hit the further away you are from the airflow. But there we go, nice and tight in there. Let's just cut our leads down. I do recommend keeping the tool in while screwing your thing down, just to keep your coils nice and clean. And when you're trimming these leads, as flush as you can to the post is ideal. Okay, so we have got 1.18 on here, and we need to get a bit of heat through it. Just a little bit of heat through it there, and we're also just going to give it a tiny bit of a squeeze. Sorry, very hard to see everything I'm doing with this top down angle, but I'm basically just giving it a little pinch just to sort of straighten up those the amount of spacing in between the coils. It's very lightly spaced, this, that's the thinking. Okay, so have a look now. This is what we've got going on. Not the neatest, it's very tricky on camera, guys, but this is what we're going with. 1.1 ohm, 26 gauge, 3mm ID, and there we go. As you can see, the coil leaves plenty of room for your cotton, which we will put in now. And I've only very, very lightly warmed this up, so there's absolutely no discolouring on the wire or anything like that. Again, that's super subjective. Some people don't agree with heating them up before you put your cotton in and stuff, and some people do. I like to just give it a little bit of a warm up, but there we go. Okay, so let's get this wicked up. Less is more with the old cotton game. Put it through there. You don't want it too tight in here. I know there's different theories about all that, but for mouth to lung, wicking is usually not an issue, so you don't want it too tightly packed in there, and you don't want to reshape the coil in any way or anything like that. So just get a nice clump of cotton and stick that through. When you're cutting just slightly past the edge of the barrel. I hope that's coming across on the camera there. Just slightly past the edge. Oh, rubbish scissors. There we go. Again, very subjective about brushing out your cotton and all that sort of stuff. Again, doesn't need to wick too fast. What I like to do is at least make it so it's quite fluffy and quite straight. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim these down a bit so there's a nice amount of cotton going through the holes. What I do from this point is just tidy these up a bit, get the length back even again as well, like that, and then you are good to go. Now, putting them through the holes, there are neater ways of doing this, but I found it doesn't matter because you can straighten it all up after. I'm just putting it up a little bit just so I can get the bottom in first. Just like that, and you'll know at this point if you've got too much, it'll start to feel a bit awkward. But what you want is just stick your poker underneath here and just give these a nice sort of wide brush, and then it should just look like that on that side, and you should be able to get your poker through like that. You don't want it tightly packed in here, or you'll have all kinds of trouble with wicking. Might just take the corner off there. It's worth taking your time with this and getting exactly how you want it. I'm just going to pinch the corner off here so it's not too fat. That little bit of extra time could save you so much time in the long run. Again, so I'm just going to lift this up a tiny bit and then push it through. Don't forget, once you start juicing up your cotton, it's all going to expand a bit as well, and again, even more reason to make sure you've got an Allen key's worth of room in there. But tough it all out so that it is nicely spread out through there. There we go. There we go, and it should look a bit like that. You should have some poking through at the bottom there, and I recommend fanning that out a bit. But it should look like that, essentially. There we go. Let's get some juice on it. Okay, so let's juice it up a bit. Give it a nice head start. We'll talk about wicking a bit more when I do the direct to lung recommended build. Wicking becomes more of an issue at higher wattages, but the principle is exactly the same. Just getting a nice amount through. So that's all nicely juiced up. Put our barrel back on. This is the clear glass, by the way, that you get as a spare. Tighten it up, pull that back to one hole. Don't forget, all the airflow work's been done by that internal pin. But there you go, and then just fill it up. You don't have to worry about the air holes or tipping it or anything like that when you're filling it up. Just blood your cotton in there, and blood your juice in there, nice and easy. And then, very simply, put your top cap back on. Obviously, I could have put more juice in there, but we're just doing a video, aren't we? Okay, so top cap on. You don't need to screw this top cap down very tight. It's completely locked in. Don't go crazy and do it really tight. Is my advice on that. But there we go. Let's go vape this. Okay guys, that was my recommended mouth to lung build. Again, let me reiterate, I'm not saying it's the best build in the world ever for mouth to lung. I'm just saying that's what I use. That's what I use. Give it a try. If you don't know what to put in here and you're not sure what to do in here, then that is what you do. Give this a whirl. Give this a whirl, and I think you'll be very happy with the results. It came out at 0.115. I'm at 15 watts, which is 4.48 volts, and it's vaping an absolute treat. Really, really nice, authentic mouth to lung vape, in my opinion. And don't worry about the fact that you're currently having to rely on my opinion. Loads of tanks have been sent out to loads of reviewers, so you'll start to see those videos popping up in the next few weeks, hopefully. So yeah, check out those. Again, if you follow the like page, when a reviewer puts it up, good or bad, I will put a link in that like page to that review. What else do you need to know? Quickly on the wicking, less is more with that wicking. You really don't need too much cotton going through there. You don't really need to jam it tight in your coil or anything like that. In terms of cutting it and length of your cotton, I'm just going a few mil past the edge of the tank and pushing that down. You don't want too much cotton down into the actual base of your tank. You just want a nice coverage throughout that hole, and it needs to be not too tight in the hole that you can't get your Allen key or whatever you're using to poke it through. You need to be able to just get it through there so it proves to yourself that it's not too tightly packed in there. Wicking this in mouth to lung mode, it's very difficult to go wrong. I don't know exactly how you could go wrong with this. It can wick so well and so fast, this tank, that you're not going to have any issue at this lower wattage at all with wicking. The only thing you might do wrong is not put enough cotton in and it might flood out. But no, it's very good. Really enjoying the vape. When can you get it? Where can you get it? Etc. I know I'm getting a lot of messages on the like page about that. There's going to be loads of vendor announcements this week. The one place we have confirmed is justadnick.co.uk, and it should be available from justadnick.co.uk at the end of this week. So stay tuned to the like page. We'll say when they actually have it on their site there, and other vendor announcements for all around the world will be coming as well. So that is it. That's my recommended build. Put your recommended build down below for mouth to lung. Please don't have a go at my build. It is just what I use. If you're a new starter, you won't go far wrong with this. And over time, I'm sure you will build your own perfect mouth to lung build. I've been Vaping Vic. Thank you very much for watching. Check out the like page in the description. I'll see you again soon. As a special thank you for your continued support on the channel, and especially with this tank, I've got a quick little giveaway for you guys. If you wanted to go to Vape Expo but you don't have a ticket yet, I have 5 tickets here to give away. Simply email me cd_v1ck@hotmail.com. If you need an Expo ticket, I'll pick 5 of you out at random to get a ticket. Thank you to Marty for hooking me up with these tickets, and thank you guys for your support. Drop me an email if you need an Expo ticket. Cheers.